take it as a man.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, you know, there's, yeah, but it's just that survival mode that they're it's like they're chasing something or they're escaping something. They're crazy humans, absolutely crazy. Yeah. How was 2020 and how has the pandemic been for your group in terms of music?
It was okay. I think that, you know, I don't want to grumble too much because, you know, everyone had it, and it was grim, and it was pretty awful to release like a whole year's worth of music. It was a whole EP, and then that came out in lockdown. It was like the first single from it came out, I think, like 3 days before the lockdown was announced. So, and then you know, by that point we'd already committed to like releasing the whole EP through the rest of the year. So it was just like quite grim to have stuff that we had to put out that we couldn't like move, and it was just right in throughout the height of the pandemic. So it was not fun to release stuff and not have any opportunities to gig. So the only way that you could gauge how it was going was to just kind of watch stats on Spotify, which wasn't fun. And yeah, that just felt very soulless to just kind of like stick it out there and then just be like, well, let's check some numbers on a screen and see if anyone's listened. Whereas usually, you know, you start playing it at gigs and people start singing along and you realize like, oh, this one's gone down really well, whatever. It felt just none of the connection with the people that are listening to it that you normally have. But in terms of writing, it was good, because our writing process anyway is quite well adapted to this kind of thing. We don't tend to sit and write everything together in a rehearsal room. Like we pay by the hour for our rehearsal space, so we actually tend to bring in completed songs and then just tighten them up live, and we do everything through like, you know, recording software. Like we all use Logic, and I'll put bits together and then get the guys to send me their parts, and I'll add it into the demo, and then we'll assess it, and that's how we write. So it didn't really stop us writing at all. It just meant everyone had more time to work. But yeah, it was just releasing stuff really was a bit of a disappointment, not being able to have any kind of human element to the release process.
Yeah.
Are you proud of it? Does
think I've had COVID. Nick's just had it. Brad's had it twice, I think, and Steve's had it. Don't think Josh has had it yet, but you know, we're lucky. We've all had we've all had our vaccines and boosters and stuff. So everyone has had it like pretty mildly, and yeah, in terms of kind of illness, I think we've all done pretty well so far. How about yourself? Have you been keeping?
I've had it. I had it in July during the European Championships. I was in Spain, so the bars were open. So we just go in there every Saturday that God sends. Dodging it. You call them youth sector actually. I'm just really curious now. Like,
it's, to be honest, it's going to be a very underwhelming answer. At the time of like naming the band, we had a song, our first single, Dig It and Repeat. We had that ready to go for ages, and we were just dying to like just get going. Like, we just felt like we'd waited for long enough, and we were just absolutely buzzing to get out and do some shows and release that song and everything. And we didn't have a name in place. We've been trying for ages. We were, I don't know if you've been in bands before yourself.
no.
The name is just a nightmare process, because when you've got like 5 members who all need to approve it, and everyone's got different tastes and different words mean different things to each member. Some of them are like, oh, that's cringe, or oh, I hate.
There's a certain reluctance in the air, like.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'd just been going for ages where we didn't have a name, and I think Josh just kind of threw those words together and was like, that sounds like a name. And we were all just like, it was kind of at that point, it was the first name that came up where somebody didn't go, I fucking hate it, like, don't even suggest anything for the next 3 days kind of thing. So we took that collective, like, nobody hating it as like a good sign. So we just kind of ran with it because we were really keen to just get going. And yeah, that's it. So it wasn't, there's no significance to it or anything. It's just like, needing a name.
It's actually it's actually worked out to be a pretty good name, considering like your sound, and your and everything, it's actually a good name.
We just need to stop aging. That's going to be the problem down the line.
Yeah, you could end up calling yourselves Youthful Sector, maybe.
Yeah, or past youth sector, maybe. Wasted sector.
Yeah. Adult sector.
Yeah, adult sector. Started singing because I've always loved Robbie Williams. I think that early Robbie Williams is absolutely what, like, my bread and butter when I was growing up and like forming my music taste. So all of the times that I started to really enjoy singing was just from being in my room and like singing along to Robbie Williams. So that kind of got me going on singing. And then I suppose songwriting is stuff like Elvis Costello. I've always been like really inspired by. At the moment, like the lyrics, and the music, I suppose. Have you listened to Fiona Apple's album Fetch the Bolt Cutters that she released in 2020?
No, I haven't actually.
I honestly think that is one of the best albums to ever be written by anybody ever. It's just unbelievable from start to finish.
She has an amazing voice.
Yeah, her voice is incredible and her lyrics are just ridiculous. And yeah, the songs are so interesting and unique. That it's I love it and it's inspiring, but it's almost so far out of reach that sometimes I have to be in the right mood to be inspired, because sometimes I just think, oh my God, I'm never going to be her.
A place like this stays empty for a while. Does it really make you grin? Does it really make you grin? And just an empty chair that no one will be sitting in. If you got something warm to eat, if you got ground beneath your feet, are there houses on your street? Is it day or is it night? Can you sleep without the light? Yes, you'll put it up alright. But you'll never, never, never get away from it all. And you'll never, never stand up straight and tall. Things will never, ever change. They'll all just rust away with the wind that all, it all. Well, it's always, always, always been the same. Always, always, always wanted more, 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 more. Always, always, always been the same. Always, always, always wanted more, 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 more. Is this really what you want? Is this really what you want? Can you ask yourself, 'cause no one else is asking you? Do your children mind of you? Are they making fun of you? See their faces turning blue. But you'll never, never, never get away from it all. And you'll never, never stand up straight and tall. Well, it's always, always, always been the same. Always, always, always wanted more, 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 more. Always, always, always been the same. Always, always, always wanted more, more, more. But you'll be with you, live without is always and forever. My God, are we at it again? But it's clear enough to make it out and piece it up together. My God, what is it now? But you'll never, never, never get away from it all. And you'll never, never stand up straight and tall. Well, it's always, always, always